All the way back in September of 2023, the annual video game trade showcase known as Gamescom was held in its usual location of Cologne, Germany. Many great games were shown off as usual, but the news that really got the gaming world buzzing were the leaked reports of Nintendo holding a closed-door demo of its next console. Game developers were shown the rumored Switch 2 this far ahead of its release to show them what the technology could do and get them excited to work on games for the new system. Of course, you have to take all of these rumors with a whole boulder of salt, since everyone that attended this meeting, if indeed it did take place, likely did so on the condition that they could not talk about what they saw. Still, video game news outlets reported that an upgraded Breath of the Wild was the star of the show, and that the system was aiming for a late 2024 release. The Nintendo Switch was released back in 2017 and is currently the third best-selling console of all time, just behind Nintendo's own DS and, of course, the monster that was the PlayStation 2. It's kind of hard to describe how beloved the Switch is, but it's absolutely ancient technology-wise. In the time since its release, Nintendo's hybrid home and portable console went from having no competition to now having all of its innovations iterated on by Valve with the Steam Deck and other powerful handheld PCs. In spite of this, anyone that has played the sorcery that is Tears of the Kingdom knows that the hardware is still capable of producing games that are absolutely breathtaking. Nintendo's secret weapon always has been, and continues to be, its army of amazing developers and the classic gaming experiences that they constantly create. Trophy and I both own Switches, but we were pretty late to the party. Plus, we mainly play on PlayStation, where gaming for us is very social. Much more social than it is possible on the Switch. So, while we are as excited as the rest of the gaming world to see what Nintendo has cooking for its next console, we aren't the type of gamers that are looking to buy the Switch 2 or whatever it winds up being called on day one.
But that isn't to say that there is no way Nintendo could get us excited enough to camp out for a Switch 2 right off the bat. If they want to impress us, it won't be with graphical power, which I'm sure is coming anyway, or with fancy Ultra HD virtual reality mega touchscreens. Those things are nice, but we don't really care about stuff like that. The things that would make a new Switch a must-buy for us are backwards compatibility, nice and easy one to start with. The Switch's library is massive, and when it comes to console generations, being able to play your favorite older games on your shiny new hardware goes a long way towards easing the transition. Our Switch game collection is nowhere near what others have amassed, but regardless, being able to play those games on the newest console would be great. It's not a 100% deal breaker if the feature isn't there, but I think I speak for all gamers in saying that it would definitely help the gotta have it levels.
Probably my biggest need for Nintendo to address with the next console is the stick drift issue. Trophy always plays with his Switch docked because as a gamer who was born with a PlayStation DualShock in hand, he can't deal with the Switch's offset analog joysticks. He had a Switch for more than a year, gathering dust, until he found out one day that with the USB adapter, he could use the PlayStation's controller with the Switch console. Ever since he started playing this way, he's been loving all the Nintendo games he hadn't touched before. But let me get back to the stick drift. Because he always plays docked, he has never had to deal with the Joy-Con stick drift. But for me, for almost 2 years, I've had to deal with the horrors of game characters moving by themselves, because I use the Switch in handheld mode almost exclusively. The flawed Joy-Con design has remained unchanged for so many years now, and it's absolutely unacceptable. With advancements that have been made in joystick technology since the Switch was released, such as making them with magnets that don't actually touch and therefore do not wear down over time, it is imperative that the next Nintendo console does not skimp on a controller design so that it doesn't fall prey to these same defects. I know this is a hard thing to test for when the console isn't even out yet, but this is not Nintendo's first trip around the block. They know what they are doing and how to test out their own hardware. Releasing controllers that are well made and reliable is an absolute deal breaker for us buying into the next Switch system.
Next, let's get into something much more important. We need the Switch 2 to have online social features at the same level as PlayStation and Xbox. That is to say, we need to be able to send messages and invites on the system itself. We need to be able to make party chats and actually talk to our teammates when we play games together. Splatoon is one of our favorite PvP series regardless of platform, but when we bought it, we were stunned to find out that you can't talk to your teammates in game. Supposedly there's a chat function available through the Nintendo Online smartphone app, but that is not an ideal solution unless you want to wear 2 sets of headphones, I guess. I don't know how that works. We recognize that Nintendo would like to protect its younger players from toxic voice chats, and I support that fully. However, a party chat system in-game with your friends is a basic necessity with team-based games, and I would love to see it here. Discord integration with both the messaging and party chat systems, if possible, would be a huge plus as well.
Next, and I know this is more of a software thing than a hardware one, but as Nintendo produces both and its games are what most players will be playing on its console, we'd really like to see a lot more quality of life options become standard for every game Nintendo puts out. For example, button mapping. As gamers who play on multiple platforms, it's really jarring to go from PlayStation to Nintendo and have the buttons be reversed with no way to remap them to suit our tastes better. I know that different players from different regions prefer specific button setups. In general, the Japanese prefer the confirm button to be the right button and the cancel to be the lower one, but in the West, the functions are opposite. This will not bother some players, especially those who play on only one platform. But for those who enjoy games from more than one console, it would be great for it to be standard to be able to swap these functions when needed, or just to be able to place different buttons where it feels most comfortable to you. Also, Nintendo, please allow gamers to control audio settings in-game, such as being able to mute the in-game music. This isn't something that everyone will care about, but for us, and gamers like us, we need the option to be able to turn that music off and play our own music selections the way that we can in almost any game on any other system. Remember how Trophy said that we loved Splatoon until we found out about the party chat issue? Well, when we play PvP games with our friend group, we love to be in the party chat, with the in-game music off, listening to our own playlists on Spotify, and talking to our teammates and friends, often when they are not even playing the same game with us. They might be on Discord working, but they are still in the chat with their friends having a good time. And no matter how good the in-game music is, and Nintendo has always been known for having great music in its games, any music can get stale during long marathon sessions with no way to change it up. Splatoon has fantastic music, but listening to those warbling chipmunk voices for hours on end is nobody's idea of a good time. Hence, even though we loved the game itself, we quickly began to have a harder and harder time getting our friends to want to join up for play sessions with all of these key quality of life features missing.
As content creators, it would be great if the Switch 2 came with more robust game footage and screenshot saving and sharing options, such as the ability to save longer clips, for those clips to be in full 1080p at least, and be easily movable from console to PC for use in content. I know you can do it now with an SD card or by posting to Twitter. Gross. But that option needs to be available also via USB and external hard drive. I think that just about does it. I'm curious to hear about the features you guys want to see that would make the next Switch a must-buy for you, but for us, if we see all of these features listed here, you might catch us camped out in front of the electronics store this holiday season looking to make a day one purchase for sure. Thank you for listening.